Hey everyone, Al Fragnoli, Zach Sutty, legal leaders here with you today. We're joined today by our special guest, Tyler Parsons. Tyler is the general manager for the Lansing Lugnuts, the single A affiliate of the Toronto Blue Jays. Tyler, thanks for joining us today.
Zach, Al, happy to be on and happy to be chatting at you guys on a game day. It's just it's awesome to be like talking some baseball, man.
Awesome. We've got a couple questions lined up here for you. Chat a little bit about minor league baseball and what you guys have going on in Lansing. So obviously no minor league season that's happening this year. You guys have been pretty creative. You guys have created the Lemonade League, a wood and bat collegiate league. Tell us a little bit how this was able to get made possible and get going in the works here.
Yeah, we're fortunate that we have an amazing staff here. As we started to kind of read the tea leaves with minor league baseball in our season, and obviously the battles that Major League Baseball had to get their season going, we really started preparing ourselves sometime into mid to late May that, hey, we're probably not going to have a minor league season. There's still an outside shot. We're still going to keep our fingers crossed, but we're not going to put all our eggs in that basket. We started really looking at plan B, and for us, it was, hey, we have a gorgeous facility here. We have an amazing field. We have the infrastructure in place. Let's look at some alternative options for baseball. And I got my start in baseball actually in summer collegiate ball. Actually, I think I tried to hire Al once when I was in Martinsville, Virginia, and in the CPL, the Coastal Plain League down there, and was very familiar with the budget and the financials behind running a summer collegiate team. And we had some really good college connections here. From the Crosstown Showdown that we host every year with Michigan State. And then we actually were going to host the GLIAC conference tournament this year here at our stadium, which got canceled. And then I think there's 18 baseball programs of collegiate nature here in the state of Michigan, and really just started connecting with people. And Greg Kiger, who we had just brought on probably a month or two before COVID hit, former assistant AD over at CMU that I've known for a long time, great guy. He did 99% of the legwork behind the player and the roster side and getting guys here and all of our protocols we put in place to put together two teams. So we essentially have, two teams that play in kind of a pseudo bubble. They only play here. They only come to our stadium. We don't have any travel. We have the Collegiate Lugnuts and the Collegiate Locos, which is really two teams that were built on identities and jerseys we already had. So we didn't have any expenses there, obviously, but we did a draft, had the two teams selected, and have 20 games scheduled this summer to play really through the end of July, through the end of August here. It's been awesome so far. Our capacity is limited to 100 people. We do all of our seating out in a left field area in a kind of a restaurant style setup. And then we have a free stream we provide for all of our fans, and all, add some sponsor activations on there and do a full level broadcast. And hats off to Terry Allipert and our production team. They've done an amazing job of creating a custom broadcast. And it's really opened our eyes to the digital side of baseball games, which is something that, minor league baseball has done a little bit, but we've never dove all the way in like maybe you see at the major league level or other sports where you can just pop up and find a free showing. We've had MILB TV, but I think, the streaming option is something for us to really build upon in the future. So that's really the Lemonade League. And obviously we named it the Lemonade League because when baseball gives you lemons, you make lemonade, and it sold a ton of merchandise with it. It's been a fun venture for us, had a lot of fun. And I would say, the streaming portion's been great, but even with 100 fans, we've had more fans than I can ever remember come up to us and just tell us, hey, thank you. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for giving us a slice of normalcy for even for one day to come out, enjoy a baseball game in a safe environment. And we worked with the Young County Health Department. We put all these protocols in place. It's not easy. I tell everyone, I can definitely see from the collegiate sports model how tough it could be to keep things contained, and how you have to be 20 or 30 babysitters just all the time, just monitoring people. And but I think it's going to pay off in the end, and our staff's really embraced it, and we'll keep it going here.
Yeah, I think it's pretty awesome what you're doing, and it does bring some sense of normalcy, and I think people value that right now. People want to get out and experience things that, without, thinking about COVID all the time, that I can experience baseball. So it's pretty awesome.
Appreciate it.
What are some other exciting ways that you and your staff have worked on to create additional revenue for your organization? sounds like you're doing some cool things with streaming. What do you got going on to produce some revenue?
Yeah, we have a full calendar kind of right now. We have some things kind of scheduled here in the future. We're going to do some of the movie nights that everyone's probably seen. We've been doing a lot of high school tournaments, which I tell people these travel ball tournaments are great. They're great opportunities to get kids out here to play. They're long days. We have some days we played 50 games in 10 days here at our field. It was 5 games a day, and great opportunity, decent revenue. Obviously, it's not going to fill the gap from our season. But then really we jumped into the Lemonade League and really scheduled as much as we possibly could through end of August here with those baseball games. And as soon as those kind of conclude and kids go back to school, we'll start bouncing into, the movie nights and dinner on the diamond style things and really kind of trick or treat options. And it's just, we tell everyone right now, we have a schedule. It's always fluid. I mean, for us, I never expected that we'd still be at 100 people right now. When we started putting our schedule together back in June, it's like, things were trending pretty well. And we're pretty optimistic. And I'm like, man, we might get 25% capacity. And I'm like, we're not even going to get over 100 right now. And that's when we really had to start getting creative and really diving into it. Because as you guys can imagine, with 100 people inside an 11,000 seat stadium, our revenue is pretty capped out. We're not going to sit here and become millionaires off of a couple of 100-person events. Now we're able to make some money. We're not going to lose any money. But the risk there for us was, hey, even at 100 people, this is worth it for us to do because we owe it to the community to try something. We have the ability to do it. Let's do it. And we're going to constantly keep pushing the envelope and trying to find things we can do safely here. And we're going to kind of monitor the guidelines. If we get a chance to open up a little bit more, that probably gives us some more leeway. We still do have 2 larger events on the calendar here for October. I'm not super optimistic about it, but we're going to keep it on there until we know for sure that it's probably not a realistic possibility. We have a beer festival. And we have a rugby match between Michigan State and Michigan here. Those may make sense. They may not make sense. We're just kind of monitoring because it changes every day. And we've been talking to a lot of teams that have done things before us. That's one of the benefits of, I guess, being one of the slower evolving states as far as capacity is we got to call everyone and be like, hey, how'd this work for you guys? Since we couldn't do this back then and get some good feedback. But it's all about creativity and generating revenue now.
Yeah, I mean, right now I think the organizations that are succeeding are doing things for the community. They may not be making a ton of money, but as long as they're not losing money, they're doing something for the community. And with your schedule, you got to be flexible and adaptable. Nobody can schedule anything into the future right now. It's day to day. So kudos to you and your team. Looking into the future, we know it's hard to plan. And in the next year's minor league season, what are some challenges that you and your team will face coming off a lost season this year?
Yeah, that's a great question. I tell everyone my crystal ball that I've had for the entire COVID here has been pretty well malfunctioning, I think, because my timing's been off as far as what I think is going to happen. With minor league baseball, we have 2 major challenges. One, we're coming off a lost season. We were the first professional sports team to get canceled and first league to get canceled. We'll have some makeup ground with some of our tickets and some of our sponsors. We've been really fortunate. Our sponsors have been amazing and really embracing what we're doing here in the community. And we're not going to have to kick the can down the road as much as maybe some other teams are. Our season ticket holders have been great. For the most part, we know we're going to be in a decent spot, but we are going to have some revenue that we normally would have, in 2021 that we have to, it's going to get passed down a little bit. So that'll be one challenge in just, how we scale our operation. And I think how we sell and how we create our experience is going to be different. And we're already having those internal discussions. We're putting together our plan for 2021. We can't go into next year and just assume everything's going to go back to normal and we're going to be selling the same way or promoting ourselves the same way as we did before. I think there's going to be kind of a slow roll. Even if there is a vaccine or even if COVID kind of starts going away, people are still going to be more hesitant. And I think your large corporate outings are going to probably be your biggest challenge with sales. And then I think how we set up our fan experience and how we seat people and, just being really, really adaptable with our fans and creating an experience that that they want, and that they're comfortable with, and that they're comfortable coming out to a large sporting venue again, which, no one's done since the first week of March. So by that time, it'll almost be a year. We'll see how things progress, and then kind of build our fan experience model based on feedback and what we think is going to be the best option to improve everyone's experience and make them comfortable here. The other piece, obviously, that I'm sure you guys are well aware of, we are in a PBA negotiation right now with Major League Baseball, and the landscape of minor league baseball is probably going to look a little different after this. I don't know what that all entails, and we're just kind of along for the ride right now and hope there's an agreement sooner than later. We feel very comfortable with our affiliate in the Toronto Blue Jays. We've been partners for over a decade now, and they've been amazing to us, and we'd love to continue our partnership, but we'll see how everything shakes out, and what minor league baseball and Major League Baseball's relationship looks like here for 2021 and beyond.
Tyler, you've been in baseball ever since our time at CMU together, I believe, probably about 8 or 9 years now that you've been working in baseball. You've worked with a couple organizations. You've moved through the ranks rather quickly into your current role with Lansing, with the Lugnuts there. Obviously, the sports industry is incredibly competitive. For those looking to get into the industry, what are maybe 2 or 3 of the most important skills that you think will help somebody achieve success and maintain a long-lasting career in sports?
Yeah, this one's always a difficult one for me because I tell everyone it's just everyone's path is different. I've been incredibly fortunate. Do I think I have some talent? Yeah. Do I think I've been lucky? Yeah, absolutely. I think the first thing that I always tell people when I go speak to classes and stuff is that, be willing to move. So many people I'll talk to that they have this dream job in mind, but they're only willing to pursue that within a certain geographic bubble. And I can tell people flat out, when I moved to Forest City, North Carolina, or Martinsville, Virginia, those were not hubs for young professionals by any means. Like, you weren't going to go out and hit the town and take Instagram photos and share all this stuff. Those were, small towns where I pursued opportunities that, I probably wouldn't have had elsewhere, and had a chance to build my career in. You got your friends over in Chicago or Detroit or Denver, and they're all having this, great time in this large city. And you're like, I'm in Martinsville, Virginia, which, nothing against Martinsville. I love my time there, but it's not comparable to these large markets and these large cities where, everyone thinks they're going to go after you graduate. So be willing to move, be willing to pursue the opportunity, and get yourself out of that comfort zone. I think that also brings an incredible value of teaching you how to adapt and network outside of that comfort zone. When you get dropped off in a place that you don't know anybody, you have to learn how to get creative and meet people and, really start fresh again. You get a chance to see, entirely different cultures and how things are done in different areas of the country. And that really helped me grow rapidly. And I met a lot of amazing people early on in my career, and still do. But, I'd never lived anywhere besides Michigan. And you go down to North Carolina and then Virginia, and I was in Tennessee, and I did my full tour of barbecue, as I tell everyone down south. But that's the first one. The sense of entitlement, I think never thinking you're above any job. Even as a GM here, I'm scrubbing toilets. I'm, mopping off bird poop off our concourse. Like, I do some really, dirty jobs here, and it's not.
Are you still pulling tarp?
I still pull tarp. I've never not pulled tarp. One day I will retire the tarp card, but not yet. Yeah, just that sense of entitlement. I have seen that as some younger kids when they get out of school, and you think you have all this whole background and that you don't have to do certain things, and step up, be a team player. That's going to help build your career as you kind of move forward. And I think the third piece is, I tell everyone, is find yourself in a role that either you're super passionate about or is revenue generating. I see a lot of people that are like, hey, I want to take a sales role to get my foot in the door. And that's just not how it works. We're never going to hire someone for a sales role when they don't have a passion for selling, and they just want to get their foot in the door. And if you're really passionate about marketing or fan engagement or operations, don't take another job in a different area just to get your foot in the door, because you're just going to learn to not like working in sports, because nobody wants to go work 16 hours a day in a spot they really don't enjoy or aren't really passionate about. And it's just going to burn people out. You really got to find an area that you're really passionate about, that you want to pursue, because the hours with sports are probably the biggest negative I think we have right now. And really in the last 4 or 5 years that we've all gone from, sporting venues to entertainment venues. It used to be we did 70 baseball games at home, and now we do 70 baseball games at home plus another 200 events. It's different on the wear and tear and people's work-life balance. If you really don't enjoy what you're doing, then you're just going to burn out and go work somewhere else.
Tyler, this is all fantastic information that you shared with us. Zach and I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day, especially on a game day. We know how busy that can be. So thank you very much for sharing some info on what you guys are doing in Lansing. It's fantastic to see you guys take a negative with everything going on with COVID this year, turning into a positive, and really get some fans into the doors to watch this Lemonade League. So keep doing great things in Lansing, and thank you again for your time, Tyler.
Thanks, guys. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade, right? It's good talking to you, Al and Zach.
Thanks, Tyler.